This week on the Steam Machine Podcast, playing some Neon Abyss, leveling up while we're going down. Cue the music. Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Steam Machine Podcast. My name is Dalton, and joining me as always are the Destructo Bros.
What's up, y'all? It's Nate and Willie. We are chilly and thrilled to be here this week. Yes, I got the reaction of a double face palm. Boom!
Are we thrilled to be here?
Man, if you're always like wondering yourself, like, why is Dalton almost always laughing during the intro? If you guys could only see the little dances that we do before we get started, it never fails to make me giggle. How are you boys been this past 2 weeks, man? Doing good?
Yeah, doing good in the neighborhood. Applebee's. Oh, man, I need to stop shouting things out that are not giving us money. Sorry.
Hashtag not a sponsor.
Hashtag not a sponsor. So, I've been playing some games. I beat Arkham Asylum, and I absolutely love that game. If I was on the episode Dalton recorded, that would have been an extremely high, 9+ out of 10 score. So, of course, the thing I do immediately after is I've just jumped right into Arkham City. We might do an episode on Arkham City one day. I don't care. I'll play it again because I'm loving being Batman so much right now. So, I'm not going to stop being Batman.
That's fair. That's fair.
The thing I like about Arkham City is it just took everything from Arkham Asylum and made it feel more fluid and fun and added some new things as well. And I don't even know if I'm halfway through the game yet, but Batman already has new abilities he didn't have in Arkham Asylum, and the combat in the game, it just took what Arkham Asylum did, made it feel more fluid, and my combo game is wild on City.
Oh yeah, I judge myself by how long I can go without getting hit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's earlier when I was playing, because I've been playing a little bit of City too, just diving into it. Dude, beating the shit out of people. I was playing for 2 hours, and then this one random dude punched me in the back of the head, and I was so upset.
You felt disappointed in yourself.
Yeah, I was like, man, I made it so long without getting hit. But I very much agree that they took what was great about Arkham Asylum and made it better, and they expanded everything. Mm-hmm. So, now you're not locked to just the asylum, you're in the city. Which, question for you, did you ever go back and find the Easter egg in Asylum? Okay,
I tried. I really did, because I even looked up a guide on how to do it, and I couldn't get it to work. You had to go to the office of the warden and bomb this specific spot on this wall with 3 plastic explosives. I tried it so many times and I couldn't get that wall to crumble.
It took me an hour of trying, and I finally got it to blow open, so I just wanted to go in there. It was when we did the episode. But that was literally an Easter egg that no one ever found. The developers had to be like, oh, by the way, Arkham City was teased in Arkham Asylum, and no one ever found it.
How would you have found it? Because even if you did think to do that, you would do that, but it wouldn't work the first time. So, you would literally have to stand there and be trying that for ages, and it just, no.
But yeah, you blow that room open, and you go in there, and there's a whiteboard with schematics for Arkham City, basically.
Yeah. I looked it up on YouTube. I watched what it was. I was like, I'm okay with not doing this myself. I can just see it here.
Yeah. And I would have recommended that to you too, if unless I had forgotten how hard it was to actually get that wall to blow open. But hearing you talk about that, it took me forever.
Yeah, it's so much. But the one thing I do think is harder in City though is the stealth sections seem to be a little bit harder to get around, when you're having to sneak up on the guys with guns and stuff. I'm having a little bit more trouble with that on City than I did on Asylum. Yeah,
you got to put a little more stank on it, I guess. I would be the way to. I don't know. I haven't gotten to like too many stealth sections yet, except for the one where you're like right after Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, like just real quick, that opening thing where Harley Quinn's like doing a cartwheel towards you, and you just punch her.
Yeah.
And she hits the ground, and she's just like, that's not nice, bats, or whatever the fuck. Bird brain. Yeah, just tremendous fucking game.
Yeah, it's like, I can't believe I'm just playing these now for the first time because I'm absolutely in love with these games now.
Yeah, dude, they're fantastic. I also saw you playing a little bit of Trails the other day, sir.
I did. I promised you, I'm going to start getting back into Trails in the Sky. So I didn't end up starting over because I'd only played like an hour and I didn't forget what had happened in that time frame. So I played a little bit more. The combat, I was like remembering, oh yeah, ornaments. That's how you use magic and all that stuff. So it was a little bit of a refresher, but I did do the first couple Junior Bracer missions and saw Daddy get on that airship and fly away.
Oh yeah.
But it's still just Estelle and Joshua running around doing their Junior Bracer missions, doing the missions that their dad didn't finish when he left.
Oh yeah. So you've met Shira?
Yeah.
I love Shira.
Yeah, she's cool.
Oh yeah. What about you, Willie? What you been up to, man?
Man, I'm still not fully recovered from getting my sleep schedule out of whack from starting on new medications, so I've been kind of keeping it low key this week. Did play some more Multiverses with Nate. We've probably got more firm opinions about things than we had last time, but I don't know how many weeks in a row we should just talk about Multiverses.
I mean, fuck it, man. Y'all been playing it, man. Talk about it.
I'm a little excited to see that they've got teasers for upcoming characters coming out this season. So we knew that they were going to add Rick and Morty this season, but they've confirmed that this season they're also adding Stripe from Gremlins and Black Adam from the Shazam universe.
Oh, that's what's up. Is it The Rock Black Adam?
It looks like almost like a kind of like they've kind of tried to design it to look kind of like
the comic.
I don't know, it fits into the game character design. It's hard to explain. Like it doesn't look exactly like The Rock, but you can see where some of the design choices they made for the movie kind of got put in there as well.
I was just curious.
He looks very superhero-y though, more than anything else, I would say. Like he has a very comic booky look to him.
Hell yeah. Have you guys like got hard like this is my main yet?
So I have a couple that
I feel like
I float between, like, because we like to mix up the teams a little bit. I have two that I definitely think are my two best characters, and I kind of play around with everybody else.
Can I guess, is one Batman?
Batman, yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Batman is one of my best, and my other best is Harley Quinn.
Oh, there you go. Hell yeah.
And it's not just because they're Batman and I'm obsessed with Batman right now. Like, I'm actually decent and better with them than I am with the other characters. It's just weird how that turned out.
What about you, Will? What are your go-tos?
I've been kind of mixing up between three characters lately. Garnet from Steven Universe is kind of my biggest main character because I don't have to think super hard as her. She's like, she hits very hard, has some really basic stuff she can do. I've also switched to playing a lot more Arya Stark, who is a very, very fast and small character.
Like Game of Thrones Arya Stark?
Yeah, Arya from Game of Thrones.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a weird game, dude. It's got a weird cast of characters, and it's just going to keep getting weirder, and I love that.
This is just a random little side note, Willie, and I'm going to let you continue. But Beyonce had the greatest album of all time. No, I'm just kidding. I know you guys don't play the Nicktoons Unite or whatever it is, that Smash game, but I saw where they're adding Hugh Neutron, Jimmy Neutron's dad, and I was like, all right, I would play as him.
Yeah. That's super cool. Like,
they've made some fun character choices for that. I'm thrilled that they got Reptar for that game.
Yeah, it's just like the thing about it is like the hype seems more real to me for Multiverses than it did for Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. Like, I feel like people got on Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl and then immediately kind of went back to Smash or whatever other game they were playing. People seem to like want to stick around with Multiverses a little bit, and I don't know if that's just the biased opinion because it's the one I started playing, but I don't know.
It might be that, and it might be the fact that Nickelodeon costs money.
Yeah.
And Multiverses doesn't. But also, like, you know, it's just gameplay. Like, from what I've seen of Multiverses, it looks smoother.
Yeah.
Multiverses feels like it's doing its own thing, whereas Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl almost feels to me like a competent clone of Smash that doesn't feel as good as the original. Like, Multiverses feels like it has more of its own identity in terms of gameplay and movement.
Yeah, whereas Nickelodeon looks like it's trying to put together what it thinks is the best parts of Melee and Ultimate.
Yeah, that's very accurate.
But anyway, your other two characters, you said Garnet, and who else did you like playing as, Willie?
I've been getting better with Arya, and I'm glad to see that on the patch notes they fixed her up air, so it's still going to be easier for opponents to not fall out of the second hit, because that's one of my best kill moves, is chasing people down and just slashing them up into the sky. And you make killing off the top of the screen look so fun, and I want to do it more often. Because both Batman and Harley Quinn have great toolkits for sending people straight up. And I've also been playing as the original character for the game, Rain Dog, who is a little reindeer dog guy who is just an adorable little puppy who I like a lot. Guy. He's supposed to be he's just a little guy. He's a support character, and his main super cool abilities is that like his antlers have the ability to like charge energy in them, and like you can blast out like a little projectile that floats at the enemies, and you can also blast out like a tether that attaches to your teammate, and then anytime in the next like 10 seconds or so, you can immediately pull your teammate back to where you are. So if your teammate's in trouble of getting ringed out, you can do that. Or if your teammate wants to fish for really heavy stuff off stage, you can pull them back if they get too greedy for it.
He saved my ass a few times with that.
Yeah. Nate likes to get spicy in these games, and I tend to play like on the stage and kind of chill. So it makes a fun combination for the way we play with each other.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And the fact that the game's designed from the ground up with 2v2 and like as one of the main focuses, including having different roles and stuff even listed on the character select screen. Like when you pick a character, it tells you if they're an assassin, a bruiser, a tank, a support, or a mage, and if they're supposed to do stuff horizontally, vertically, or a hybrid thereof. Like it lets you. I mean, I don't know. It feels like a cool way to approach the game that gives it a bit of uniqueness compared to other platform fighters.
So I do have a question. How many sword fighters are there?
Finn, Arya.
Fewer than you'd think.
Is it just Finn and Arya right now?
I think right now it's just Finn and Arya.
How long till we start getting Fire Emblem characters in Multiverse?
I'm just waiting for them to add the Miis. I just need to be Mii sword fighter.
At this point, there are sword characters I want them to add, though, because like one of the strong rumors has been that they want to add the Hound from Game of Thrones, and I think that would be a really fun character to have, just to hear him talk to everyone else. Because there's so many funny character interactions between all the characters in the game. Like, hearing Bugs Bunny and Arya Stark jabber at each other is just cracking me up every time.
Oh, dude, I can only imagine. Yeah. I really need to reinstall that game and check it out, even though I'm going to be a complete ass at it, because I'm awful at Smash, but... So...
Most people on it are terrible right now, we have noticed. It is not hard to beat up people early on.
This is going to be a slight spoiler for you guys for Yabs Pod. But okay, so remember how in our chat, or like the other day, we were talking about Sunsoft?
Yeah.
And then it was announced that they're going to be making new games. And we were like, they're listening to us?
Yeah.
So last night, me and Jeremy recorded Yabs Pod. And we talked about how much we loved NFL Blitz and how we don't ever hear anything about NFL Blitz anymore. He just sent me a message while we've been starting recording. It says, dude, Arcade 1-Up announced that they're doing an NFL Blitz machine.
Wow.
And I'm like, I think they are listening to us.
Your voice just draws them in, Dalton. Now, guys, since you are listening to us, I have somewhere to suggest you go to get a little bit more information about us. If you could just please go to www.patreon.com/the-steam-machine-podcast, drop us a few bucks a month. It would be greatly appreciated. Do you hear me, Sunsoft? Give us a few dollars.
Yeah, for real. You can afford it.
We'll play our Batman game for the show. We're not even an NES podcast, but we'll do it.
Speaking of, I was watching Tyler from Tyler and Dave Play Old Games stream Shining Force. I don't know if it's 1 or 2. I don't remember.
Yep. I think it's 2 he's playing.
And I mentioned, I was like, I've always like heard about this series, but I've never played it. And he was like, oh man, it's good. He's like, it's good. In fact, he goes, it would be a good game for one Steam Machine podcast. He goes, since this collection is available on Steam. And I was like, I forgot about that. So yeah, so we might actually play some Genesis games at some point, because
I'm down.
There's a collection. I also have an Atari collection, if you guys ever want to fuck. But that's going to be more like we can cover the whole collection in one episode, because Atari games, other than like Crystal Castles, which is a blast, the rest of them are very much like, well, this is of its time.
I mean, the big positive about that Genesis collection too is there's definitely going to be some cross-pollination on that list that's on the Steam catalog, as is on the Nintendo Switch Online Genesis thing that both of you should have access to from me. Yep. So, like, we could easily play that on Switch, too, if you didn't want to be tied to your computer.
Lay in bed, get some head, playing left. I was gonna say Left 4 Dead, but that's not on Switch, and that's not a part of a Genesis. And then
my favorite Sega Genesis game, Left 4 Dead.
Give us the Genesis Left 4 Dead demake, folks. Don't be cowards.
Too late. I'm busy installing Skyrim on a 2600.
I saw something today where somebody got Doom running on a fucking farm tractor. And I'm like, they really try to get Doom running on fucking everything, don't they? I've seen it running on a pregnancy test, which was the most impressive one that I've seen.
Yeah, that was at Foon on Twitter. That's one of my favorite ones of all time.
So much dumb shit, dude. I love it so much. But somebody needs to make it so that I can play Doom in Skyrim.
Nice. That feels like a reasonable ask, actually. That seems like it should be possible.
I could see that. In Skyrim would be cool, but I could see it fitting in Fallout, where you go up and you sit down at one of the computers and it pops up.
Dude, just play Doom on your Pip-Boy, dude. Think about that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. I mean, I saw where they got Doom running in Doom. Which I was just like, that's fucking incredible.
Yo, dog, I heard you like Doom.
We took Doom and put it inside your Doom so you could have Doom in your Doom when you Doom. That word has lost all meaning to me now. What does Doom even mean?
What is Doom? Baby, don't hurt me.
It's like that meme that you see. It's like, sweetie, I've been looking for this case. I can't find it. I've been looking and looking and looking. Where is the case for this game? Wood.
Wood.
So this week I've been fucking around with some games. Like we talked about a little bit of Arkham. I also have been toying with Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, I'm excited about that.
You sent us some screenshots of that.
So that game on PC is something to behold. It is fun as fuck. It's just as fun as when I remember playing it in New Jersey on my PlayStation 4. And it was funny because we were sitting, my mom was sitting in here earlier and I was playing, and it's like a legit creation of New York. So I was like, I landed and I'm like, so this is called the High Line. I was like, you see that building over there? That's the Chelsea Market. I was like, that's where me and Dad, I told you, ate that really, really hot fucking salt. I was like, yeah, we've been there. Like, I've walked on this fucking thing. Like, I when that game first came out, I saw somebody who took a video of their game, and they were sitting up on top of this thing looking down at this intersection. And the dude walked over to his window and looked out the window, and it was that intersection. So he was on top of his building.
That's so cool.
In Spider-Man. And I was like, that is so fucking cool.
Yeah, like, that's an exciting thing, I think, when they can do things like that, make video games, like, really that honed in on real life. Because could you imagine if, like, Vice City looked that much like Miami in real life, and, like, you could just go to that place from Vice City in real life in Miami? Like, I wish there was a little bit more stuff like that, but, like, yeah, it's just really cool.
I think my town would lend itself great to one of those fucking crafting survival post-apocalyptic zombie games. Because, I mean, there's 2 red lights in this town. There's a ton of fucking churches, and there's woods everywhere. So, like, maybe some, like some crazy Christian cult shit happened, and now they're all of it's left are demons, and you have to, like, survive it, but blah, blah, blah. Trademark Steam Machine Podcast. But it's a decent idea.
Dude,
The game is called Left FL Dead.
I would like to see somebody take Google Maps and just try to make, like, some kind of game around Google Maps where you could just interact with things in real life. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it just seems like a really neat idea to be able to, like, use all of Google Maps as your play area.
That would be sweet.
I feel like Microsoft Flight Simulator's kind of tried to do something kind of like that.
Microsoft Flight Simulator is kind of, yeah. Also, it's a little different than what you're saying, but there's a game called GeoGuessr.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a cool game to me because
really
they just put you down. Yeah, and they're just like, oh, where am I? Let's figure it out. I don't know. It's a blast. I think like one of us would have to pay for the thing where it's not limited to a certain number of games or whatever. I think it's like $2.99 or something like that. But like that would be a cool Game Buds thing. Like I don't know how many players it allows. I'd have to look into that. Or to do it in the Steam Machine Discord and just play some GeoGuessr. Yeah. We before we got recording, Willie was streaming some Neon Abyss in the general chat, and a bunch of people showed up. It was sweet. We had a little party going.
Yeah, it was really cool. I think it's the first time that we've kind of had somebody streaming and just a bunch of people hopped in. It was really nice just being able to talk to, the people who listen to the show and appreciate what we do. And we appreciate them for coming and hanging out with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But back to Spider-Man. So combat, super fucking fluid. I did tell Nate's very much on the fence about whether he wants to buy Spider-Man.
No, I'm not on the fence. I do want to buy it. I just don't know when I'm going to buy it.
Okay. That's what I meant. That's what I meant. So yes. But I told Nate, and I do mean this, wait till you're done with Batman, because the dodge button in Batman is Y and it is B in Spider-Man, and it will throw you the fuck off. Trust me. I have accidentally webbed somebody when trying to dodge 100 times already. But that game on PC is fucking beautiful. And I had ray tracing turned on, not even on very high. I just had it on high. There are two settings in ray tracing. There's high and very high. That's it. You can't put it on medium.
Just some light ray tracing.
You can use DLSS though, which is magic. But I had ray tracing on and I was swinging and I was like, man, some of this stuff's looking pixelated and it's loading in. It's taking a while to load in. It was a bummer. I'm like, this is on my SSD. I turned off ray tracing and that game is now a smooth, buttery, wonderful 60 frames a second with no drops, no matter what I'm doing. And I'm like, fuck, ray tracing is so resource heavy.
Yeah.
But it's gorgeous though. You know what I mean? In Control, I had ray tracing on with what's it called? I'm trying to remember the actual name for DLSS and I can't remember it. It's dynamic something. It doesn't matter.
Just acronyms to me, my dude. Just acronyms to me.
But when you ran that in Control with ray tracing on, it looked really good, but also ran real smooth. So maybe they'll update Spider-Man some and work on that a little bit. But maybe I just need a better computer, because Control came out years ago, whereas Spider-Man is remastered to look really fucking good for PlayStation 5 and stuff. Yeah. So, but yeah. Other than that, shit, I've been watching Digimon.
Yeah, you sent us a little screenshot of that. You watching your Digimon while I'm watching Batman the Animated Series.
Yes, sir.
Clearly, I need to start picking up Yu-Gi-Oh or something.
I also, and I think I've mentioned this show before, but I'm going to mention it again. Bofuri, I don't want to get hurt, so I'll just max out my defense. That's the whole name of the show, right? Is so charming and funny. The main character, Maple, she is freaking adorable, and she's just got this big fucking shield, and she's leveled up a bunch, and she dumps all of her level up stuff into defense. So she just is the tankiest tank of tanks.
Nice.
But it's a great fucking show. I recommend it. At least one season is on Crunchyroll. I found this site called 9 Anime.
That's a lot of anime.
Or is it no anime because it's German?
Oh.
Well, the site, it looked kind of sketchy at first, right? But the more I looked into it, it had a forum and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, so it's not that sketchy. There's a community for this site. And it's been nice for the stuff that, I'll see a show on Crunchyroll and be like, I'm going to check that show out. And I start looking through the comments on Crunchyroll and people are like, you should watch this elsewhere because this has been censored to hell and back. So I was like, okay. So in particular is this show called Harem Labyrinth in Another World. And yeah, there's nudity and stuff, which I could give or take. But in one of the first scenes, the dude just slices this motherfucker's head off. And the blood goes everywhere. And he goes, who would actually bleed that much in real life? Shit game.
You made Willie do a real life spit take with that one.
I was just sipping on my drink. I didn't know what was going to happen there, man. I had a straw still in my mouth.
It's another one of those isekai type shows where it's he logs in and he can't log out. Yeah, but I like that premise, and those shows tend to be pretty entertaining. It's the same, Bofuri is an isekai, except they can log out. But yeah, it was fucking hilarious. And then all of a sudden it starts talking about this one chick and about how yeah, you could buy her, she's a slave and she'll do whatever you want. And then it shows her her titties and stuff. And I was just like, oh, okay. So I should have got that from the name Harem Labyrinth.
Yeah.
But I figured it'd go a little light on that. I figured it'd be more violence, and there's a lot of violence, but there's also like full nudity, not sex, but nudity. I'm cool with it. You guys know me. Like, I'm like, hell yeah, naked waifus, throw them at me. I'm trying to think. There was something else I watched this week that was really good, and I can't. Doesn't matter. It's gone. It was a documentary of some sort, but I don't remember what it was. It's been 2 weeks.
Has been 2
Since
weeks.
you looked at me.
It was
Got to leave it aside, and I'm angry. 14 days and he left the room. Yeah, anyways. Gentlemen, this week we played a little game called Neon Abyss.
Neon Arby's.
And it actually has a Wikipedia page. I was shocked. So let's get some O-dubs in, shall we?
Yeah, classic.
Yeah, let's hear a little bit about the game.
Neon Abyss is a run-and-gun shooter video game with roguelike elements developed by Veewo Games. Veewo. The game's premise...
That's the little guy from Adventure Time. Looks like a Game Boy, right?
The game's premise is centered around members of the Grim Squad as they descend the Abyss, which consists of a series of levels with procedurally generated rooms, in pursuit of powerful entities known as the New Gods. The characters can use a variety of firearms and special abilities to fight enemies across each level. Neon Abyss was released for multiple platforms on July 14th, 2020, with British game developer Team 17 as their primary publisher. Neon Abyss has received generally positive reception from video game critics. So, Nate, I know we talked about a little bit about this in the Patreon, but what drew you to choose this game?
Yeah, so like Neon Abyss, like first off, like the cover of it looks super cool. It has like the whole neon thing with the skull mask looking guy and the thing.
It does look awesome.
The cover looks really awesome, and I knew it was kind of like a roguelike type game, and I've been kind of craving one of those. I wanted this to be like my next Hades or my next Dead Cells, games like that I got really obsessed with for a long time and just couldn't stop playing. So that's kind of why I picked this one, because it just, it looked really cool. It had a cool premise. I like the idea of it being a run-and-gun roguelike, because I haven't played one, like, specifically it was a run-and-gun. Because, there's games like Gungeon, which are like twin-stick shooters, but a run-and-gun sounded like a really cool experience for a roguelike.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I have always, like, this is one of those games that I got free at some point, and the cover looked really cool, but I never played it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, same.
So I was actually pleasantly surprised when you picked it, and I was even more pleasantly surprised when I played it, and I didn't hate it. Which I think you were happy to hear too, because you were like, for sure thought that I was going to hate this game, I think.
Yeah, I always worry that my picks are not exactly always at Dalton's taste. So when he got back, he was like, yeah, this is pretty fun. I'm like, yes, I didn't screw him this time, because I know I promised your good friend, Madonkin Queen, that we'd play Blasphemous at some point, because I know that one will drive you crazy.
I will be down.
I expect to like it.
I will be down to play Blasphemous if we can also play, I think it's called Slain Back from Hell, which is another like side-scroller game, but it's like you play this dude, he's got long hair, you have this big fucking sword, and if you get hit one time, you're fucking toast.
Oh,
like
that
it's
sounds
like
cool.
It's hard as fuck, but it's fun, and it's violent, and it's metal as fuck. Probably like the Blasphemous, because Blasphemous sounds very much like it's black metal. Like I should be listening to like Dim of a Gear and shit while I'm playing that. So first impressions. Let's go like Willie. Let's go with you first, since you've had the most recent first impression. Like,
I actually had a really rough start with this game, because I had an issue with Steam's controller settings being applied universally. So it was doing the thing where my Xbox controller's right stick was doing mouse inputs, which was not intended, but it hadn't been causing a problem before this game. But because of that, I couldn't configure the controls or anything in this game, because whenever I would hit right stick, which is the shoot trigger button in this game, it would cause the mouse to move, and I would automatically, like, you know how when you switch between mouse and keyboard and controller in a game, it gives you the different, the button images for the controller you've gotten and all that. So it just kept automatically showing me mouse and keyboard related stuff no matter what I did. And it took a while of troubleshooting before we fixed that. And then after we fixed that, I finally got to get my first impression of the game and immediately had a game where I ran into an actual bug within the game where you couldn't jump through one-way platforms. Like, you could go up through the bottom, but you couldn't go back down. So I got off to a rough start, but then after that, I think I probably had a similar experience to what you guys did. Except, I also had read you guys talk about the game a little bit before, so I went into it with a few assumptions based on what you guys had already talked about that, had talked about in the group chat before I'd played it at all. So I had a complicated start with this game.
Yeah, Dalton, what about you? Since this was my pick, I'd kind of like to get yours next.
Yeah, so I was like, God damn it, Nate picking a fucking 2D platform Metroidvania roguelike. God damn it.
Hey, blame Jeremy.
I didn't think that hard. Yeah, I know. Yeah. God damn it, Jeremy. All your fucking fault. I didn't hate it that much. I was just like, all right, let's see what this game's about. Because like I said, the cover always looks super cool to me. I loaded it up, immediately loved the aesthetic of it. The bright colors, the music. Immediately I was just like, ooh, this is my shtick right here. And I had a blast with it, honestly, until I didn't. But like we'll touch on that eventually. But like going in, it was very much I'm gonna do one more run. Oh, it's 4:00 in the morning. You know, I had that moment a few times with this game. Like, the first time I loaded it up and played it, I expected to play it for like 10, 15 minutes and get back to doing what I was doing. I played it for 3.5 hours. So, I mean, you could say my first impressions were good.
Yeah, mine pretty much match yours too. It's like, I'd seen a little bit of like footage of the game before, and I was like, yeah, this will be fun, because I never played it, but I'd seen a little bit of it. And I was like, it's kind of matching what I'm wanting. And when I first got into it, played the first couple runs, I was like, yeah, this is exactly kind of what I was expecting. I did think that the way you aimed your weapon was a little bit interesting at first, because you use the right stick to aim and shoot instead of like being a shoot button. And the control scheme was kind of wonky, and I had to play around with that to get it to a place where it was comfortable to play. But other than that, yeah, like great first impression, like the aesthetic, the music. I will say, like aesthetic wise, like character models were a little bit less interesting than I'd hoped for when I saw the cover of the game and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'll give you that. It was a little more simplistic than I was thinking it would be. And just to parrot off what you said, yeah, immediately playing this game, I had to remap the controls. And I think I made a note of it in the chat where I was like, you're going to have to remap your controls when you play this.
Yeah.
And I think both of you agreed, like, oh yeah, it's a fucking must, because like the jump button is on like L1 or something like that, and also up on your push thing. So I switched it from L1 to A. So like,
I did too. And looking back at it now, I can see why L2 was the default jump key.
Oh, was it L2? Okay.
Yeah, and I can see why, because it's really hard. Because when you're firing your gun, you're moving and firing your gun at the same time. It's really hard to jump otherwise. Like, you can't really reach over and press A if you're in the middle of shooting, because then you have to let go of the right stick. So I can see why it was at L2, but it just felt awkward.
I felt more comfortable, because I played a lot with the D-pad, just knocking my thumb up to the up real quick and jumping that way, as opposed to pulling the trigger. Pulling the trigger to jump was just so foreign to me that I couldn't get used to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Because I left it on trigger to jump, and I still felt like occasionally it felt like a slightly squishier input than you'd want to for something as precise as jumping in a game. And that could be the fault of the fact that I'm using an Xbox One controller, but that's one of the better PC gaming controllers.
What controller wouldn't feel kind of squishy? Because like, I know a Switch Pro controller is super squishy. I haven't played a modern PlayStation controller in a long time, but I can't imagine that the trigger buttons don't have some give to them before you get to the full press of the button.
Well,
yeah, they all use analog triggers now. Right? On the two buttons.
I will say that the PlayStation 5 controller has haptic feedback in it, for one, which, by the way, Spider-Man, because it's a PlayStation game, on PC has haptic. Like, if you have a PS5 controller, it will work the way it's supposed to on PC, which I thought was cool.
That's dope.
But they have I think they call it adaptive triggers on the PS5 controller. So like, say you're playing Call of Duty and you have that turned on, when you pull your trigger, it will have like the resistance that a trigger on a gun would. Like, it sets the resistance and stuff. So there might be a way to monkey around with those settings on the newer PlayStation controller, but that's just that controller, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's just that controller, and I doubt that there'd be a whole lot that you could do within game settings in Neon Abyss.
Oh, yeah. Probably not. Probably not. Unless there's some sort of third-party thing, and even then I doubt it for Neon Abyss. But yeah, man, I thought it was fun. So like when you first start off, you kind of just, do they start you off sitting at the bar, like, or do you start off in a level? I don't know.
I think you get one conversation with the guy, and then you go into the bar.
Right, and you find out that's Hades, or as I called him, Julian from Trailer Park Boys. And and then you just like you jump down this shaft and you just start running through the levels. So at first I had a lot of fun with this game. Like I don't want to shit on it immediately, but like the level design, everything was a blast at first.
There's a really cool aesthetic to the stage design in particular, I feel like that is where the name Neon Abyss really comes through the most. Like there's really cool bright shiny lights everywhere, cyberpunk looks, and then you run into individual rooms that have like more like religious theme, like the perk room and all that with all the statues, and it's a cool looking game.
Yeah, I very much enjoyed like, you know, the different rooms that you could access. Like I was always looking for golden doors, so you could like pop those open and go in and get the items. Now, I guess we could talk about items and weapons because that's a good subject. Like there are a absolute ton of all of them.
Yeah, there's like it's so many that it's almost a little distracting because like once you get something, you're gonna get like probably 10 items on a run, like on an average run, you'll get like at least 10 items. There are literally hundreds of items in this game. So if you get an item on one run, you might not see that item again for another 10 runs. And by that point, you've completely forgotten what it does for you. And it doesn't give you a description when you pick up items until after you pick them up, what they do. And there's places where you have to make a choice. You can take this item or this item. Like, I don't know what either does.
Yeah, it's like, I have picked up both of these before. Fuck, which one is better? I can't figure. I don't remember. Yeah. unless later on in the game when you can start to be able to unlock characters, there's one character who lets you read item descriptions before you pick things up. But you have to unlock them, like I said. So you actually have to like put in time before you can do that. But I honestly, like, as far as the characters go, I liked them, like the first guy you started with. You know what I mean? He was chill, and I felt like he used all the weapons properly. Like I didn't have any issues that I ran into, and it's like one of the hard choices for me was always when you ran into the store, because there's like a store door that you can open and go in there, and you gather gold as you kill enemies going through this game. It was like it was gold, silver, and copper, right? Yeah. But it was basically just one solid currency. But you could buy different things in there, and it would be like a gun, a power up, and then take your pick on whether it was like crystals that would help you open the crystal based doors, or if it was a heart, a shield, an egg, or a key to open a locked chest or a door or anything. It was, you know, there's plenty of things, but like I was always dropping money on the guns, and I can't tell you how many times that I would get a new gun, run out, try it, be like, this gun fucking sucks, go back in and drop it and pick up my old gun and be like, damn, I should have got that power up. So it got to the point where I started recognizing what some guns looked like, and I'd be like, oh no, I remember you, fucker. You were terrible. So I would just not buy it and save my gold. But did you guys have any of the guns or the items that like jumped out that in your memory that were some that you really enjoyed?
Yeah, for me, the first one that, like, I remember I even put this in our group chat. I got really excited when I found it. There was a gun called the 8th Color, and basically what it did, it shoots like basically a bunch of different other guns, kind of weapon patterns, like one after the other instead of just having its own pattern. And I thought it was really cool because the 8th Color was a reference to one of my favorite book series, Discworld by Terry Pratchett, specifically to the color octarine, which is the 8th color, referenced in The Color of Magic by Terry Pratchett. And just little references like that, I think, were one of the other strengths of this game, like, because there was little references to other things that you really like all throughout the game.
Yeah, it definitely dropped a lot of stuff like that. Like, for instance, the cat medallion that we saw during Willie's stream. I almost called you William.
William.
Because I saw William of the Neon Abyss.
The cat medallion, when you pick it up, it very much looks like a Witcher medallion, but it's a cat, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And you pick it up and it turns your hair stark white and slicked back. You look just like fucking Geralt without the scar. So like Witcher 1 Geralt, right? And I just thought that was interesting because I'm like, in Witcher, there are different schools. There's the school of the wolf, school of the bear, school of the viper, and school of the cat. And I was like, son of a bitch, look at that. That's so like, so I was like, when I saw it, first of all, I went, hey, that looks like Geralt. And then I read the little thing and I went, oh, it probably is supposed to be him. And then as I played more and saw more of the references and the humor, I was like, okay, that is absolutely what that's supposed to be.
Yeah. Like another one that stood out to me was there's this one that it's a basketball jersey that's just called basketball jersey, but it's gold and purple with the number 24 on it. So I just run up and yell, Kobe, and grab it. And then when you put it on, it turns your head into a giant basketball.
Yeah. And the description says something like Mamba for life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tremendous. What about you, Willie?
I was fond of the one that lets you jump on enemies to deal damage. It was just a red baseball cap. Like, little things like that when you pick up the item, you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But there was definitely a weapon I went with in almost all of my successful runs, which was called Noise. And what it is it shoots a very slow but very large projectile that then splits into like 6, or depending on what level weapon you have. Because you can get something called Weapon Badge that levels up all of the weapons you get in the game. This game has a lot of little currencies and mechanics going on in it in general. Like there's, coins, life gems, keys, hearts, shields. That's not even everything. You might have reloads on your ammo, grenades,
fire bombs,
cooldowns on your ability.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You didn't even get to the point where you start collecting neon coins where you can put them in the fucking coin machine and it gives you cheats and stuff in return.
I didn't even name the eggs and pets. That was one of the most fun elements of the game for sure.
Yeah, seeing how many you could have in a line behind you. That was always mine. I was like, I want to see how many of these motherfuckers I can get.
Yeah, because you pick up little eggs throughout the game, and then a few rooms after you picked up the egg, it'll hatch. Well, there's a chance it'll hatch. It might just fail, but a lot of the time they'll hatch and become a little dude that follows you around and stuff. And you could amass a bunch of them. They all have weird effects. Like some of them, fight the enemies for you. Some of them block shots for you. Some of them collect stuff or transform pickups and stuff. So you end up with a big swarm of dudes by the end of a lot of good runs.
I also really enjoyed the noise weapon. In a few of my runs. One of my first successful runs, I had a gun called the Red Dragon.
The Bad Dragon?
And this was just like a rocket launcher that fired like 5 or 6 rockets before it had to recharge. But they were homing rockets, and I ended up getting a bunch of those like gun up tokens, fire rate tokens. So by the end, when I was going through, it was just like 5 rockets, reload, 5 rockets, reload, 5 rockets, reload, room is empty. Because they would just go and seek out all the enemies and just boom, blow them up. But that being said, also, if there was anything up high, I was not getting to it because these rockets were exploding everything in the room but me. Really?
Yeah, I had one that I had severely upgraded called like the Song of Joy weapon, and it was just this little trumpet. But what it would do, it would shoot out these pellets that would bounce all over the room. But I had like so many gun upgrades and stuff. It was basically just like covering the entire room with these bouncing balls that were just destroying everything in its path. Like with this game, like there comes a point where a run feels like you're either, this is rough, I'm not doing so good, or I'm a complete fucking god.
Yeah.
Yes, agreed.
And you could always start to kind of tell the difference in those games, like once you know you're about halfway through.
Oh yeah.
It's a complaint I've heard in other roguelike and roguelite type games, especially. Binding of Isaac is a game that gets this criticism a lot too, where it depends on what you pick up that basically determines how good your run is likely to be. Like, the RNG is going to make or break whether you're a god or a peasant.
I know it fits the conversation. Never mention Binding of Isaac to Madokan Queen, or else we are going to have to play that for the show.
Okay.
That's her favorite game, unless it's been replaced by Dead by Daylight. But I kind of doubt that. Like, dude, she would like. You think she's been popping in just to randomly be like, "Hey, Blasphemous, okay, bye." Like, it would be a daily Binding of Isaac win. Binding of Isaac win.
I will say,
I wouldn't mind it though.
Yeah, that'd be funny. I will say though, going back to that, how like RNG is such a big part of this game and can feel like such a problem. There is a way, like if you go into like the basement, because like how you're in the bar, you can take the elevator down to the basement. You can actually turn off certain items. I never got around to using it. I just took whatever the run would give me. But you can turn off specific things in the game.
I didn't know that. Ooh.
There's a warning that tells you that if you take turn too many things off, you won't be able to get achievements or something like that. I didn't know what that threshold was, so I didn't want to tempt it. But yeah, if I go back and playing, I'm turning off the grabber.
I had 2 weapons that I really liked, but I don't know the names of them. One of them was like when you fired it, it shot this long pink wide laser above you and below you, and it would rotate around you.
Yeah.
And it did melee damage, but like when you upgraded that thing, you could clear a fucking room with that.
You're just carrying like a death orb around you when you upgraded it.
Pretty fucking much, dude. And there was another one that shot pink lasers as well, but they were like tendrils.
I hated that gun.
Oh, I loved it. Oh, dude, powered up, I was melting bosses with that thing because they would just stick to the boss and just gone.
Because there was this one, Willie was actually on a run, and I saw him about to pick it up. I was like, don't get that gun. It's terrible.
Oh, man. I liked it. So, but that's like a user's choice
thing.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. But there were so many guns in this game that we can't even sit here and tell you all of them. Like there's one that looks like a fish that fires something out of it. There's one that looks like a cat. The
cat lets you fly for one room.
Does it?
With the active ability.
I would always
you could spend crystals to fly.
I would always forget that these guns had active abilities. I almost never used it.
So that was the thing too. I forgot about that a lot. And like I never used grenades for anything other than blowing up breakable walls and breakable things throughout. Like I never remember to use those in a fight. And like melee attacks, never remember to use those in a fight. It's just like everything kind of felt like there were some parts of the game that were kind of just added on that didn't add anything. Like, for instance, the melee attack. Like, it never really felt super useful. Because, like, if you were in a fight, you were shooting your gun. And in order to initiate a melee attack, you had to be, like, right next to whatever you were attacking and then push the stick in that direction. Like, who was going to think to do that in the middle of a fight? Like, it just didn't feel like a real thing, but it was. That was part of the game. You know what I mean? And I feel like active abilities were better, but you would forget about them half the time when you were playing, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like I played one game as the guy that has a dodge roll, but he has less max HP because of it. And like I not only forgot to use it throughout the whole game, but then ended up getting killed mainly because I kept accidentally specking into melee-based attacks. I would keep picking up stuff that looked like axes or knives because I'm like, these things look neat. And it's like, every time you melee attack, your next melee attack is stronger. And I'm like, that doesn't help me none.
I was excited when I walked in and saw the guitar weapons. And I was like, hell yeah. And I think it was the guitar that shot the musical notes out of it. Or at least one of them did. And it just wasn't what I wanted it to be. It didn't do good damage. The accuracy on it was piss. It was just, it upset me.
Yeah, I think there were a couple different guitars. And like when I played with either one of the ones that I'd found, I wasn't too fond of them either. There were some, like, other than guns, though, like, were there any abilities that you guys found that you, like, really fell in love with? Because I remember this one very specifically that every time I saw it, I was like, I have to get this. And I think it was called Lemon Jelly. And basically what Lemon Jelly did was, depending on how many eggs you had following you, you had that many extra jumps. So, like, I would always be collecting as many eggs as I could, buying them from the store and picking them up every time I found them. So I'd have, like, a trail of, like, 10 eggs behind me. So I could just stay in the air jumping for 10 consecutive jumps and just basically never have to land.
That's fantastic.
To never have to land is exactly going to lead me into what I was going to say. Because I think there was an object called maybe it was the Demon's Mask
Wings.
Or something like that.
Demon's Wings.
Demon's Wings, that's it. You permanently trade 1 max HP, but in exchange you just get unlimited flight forever for the rest of the game, period. Even if you pick up another mask or wing or whatever thing, you are just good to go. And it makes you look spooky, and it's awesome.
We should say, for the rest of that run, you get wings.
Yeah, not forever all times, but for until you die or until you reach the last stage and finish it.
Yeah, which, dude, that was going to be one of mine too, is the Demon Wings. Fucking fantastic. There was another one too that when you were wearing, well, okay, so we talked about the Witcher one, and that was when you had the less crystals, it gave you more firepower, which really came in handy. Yeah. There was one that when you picked it up, it changed all of your heart drops to shield drops.
Yeah.
That one was beautiful. Like, And then you had the little guy that would follow you around. What you guys knew his name?
Blue Doctor.
Blue Doctor. He would turn all your heart containers into shields, which came in handy a lot.
Yeah, because if you max out your heart containers, you can still carry a bunch of extra shields behind you as well. Because like say you had a max of 3 heart containers, you could still pick up like 7 shields on top of that. And a shield was basically just like an extra heart that wasn't in a heart container. So you're basically able to continue to add on to your health with shields instead of having hearts. So like if you could just keep adding shields, there was really no reason to care about heart containers.
That's one reason that I did like the robot character that you could unlock, because he's a robot, he doesn't have a heart, so he didn't have any hearts. He only had shields.
Right, but it was harder in the beginning, if you ask me, because it was harder to find shields for him early on to buff him up. So if you took like damage early on, it was really hard to find a shield to replace it early in the game.
That's true. I'll give you that. You got me there, like that meme.
But like also with the eggs and the pets, like you kind of mentioned, like you liked Blue Doctor a lot. Were there any of the other ones that stood out to you? I think Willie, I think you said you hated Grabber.
Yeah, Grabber, which is a little guy that just goes around snatching up all the coins that you would have been able to pick up if you let it sit down too long.
Oh yeah,
it's very frustrating.
That little fucker.
And he looked like a complete asshole too.
Yeah.
Before I talk about the little dude, did either of you ever get the thing where if you left coins on the ground too long, they'd explode?
Yeah, that sucked so bad.
That sucked hard, bro.
I lost so much health when I had that.
But yeah, some of the other little dudes I liked, I think it was like the little cactus guy.
Yeah.
That protected like around you. And then there was one who would just seek out enemies and kick the shit out of them.
There's
what was its
one
name?
called Batu that looked kind of like Rocky or Little Mac that would just go up to the nearest enemy and start punching them for you.
Yeah, that's who it was. Yeah, that's fucking fantastic. And then there was one, I don't know what name of it was, but it always like went to the top middle of the screen and would just sit there. And I could never figure out what the fuck it was doing. Just always just chilling.
It's just vibing.
There was one like called Karsa or something like that. Just kind of reminded me of Harley Quinn. And she would just go over top of enemies and start dropping bombs on top of them.
I liked Sun Wukong, which was another thing that just ran up and attacked people.
Oh yeah, that was good too.
For sure.
Mr. J's not feeling himself. Well, I mean, he was earlier, but that's not what I'm talking about.
What about like enemies? Did you have any enemies that jumped out that really like you were just like, God, I hate when you show up, you little fuck? Because I definitely had some. The little dudes that had like the metal
coat around them,
casing around them. Oh, they were annoying.
Yeah, because like those guys, like they wouldn't come out of their little casing until they got close to you, close enough to hit you and attack you. But like if you try to shoot them, they would take like 1,000,000 hits to kill until they like came out of their shell, and then they died pretty quick. But like they were such a pain to try to get through. Ones that stuck out to me too, though, like with the little dudes that look kind of like flowers sitting in the ground, they would just shoot huge waves of projectiles at you. Those guys were pretty hard to deal with.
Yeah.
I think even though it's not technically an enemy, the one thing that gave me the most trouble was in combat challenge rooms. Sometimes they have a little sentry in the middle that shoots a laser that tracks you, so it'll wait for a few seconds and then point a laser where you're standing, and after a couple more seconds it's like shooting a long beam that stays there for a little bit longer, and it just keeps you constantly moving. An area denies you, and I tended to panic around it and run into other enemies.
Also, there was these like bears. It looks like little bears that would jump up in the air and just shoot a giant ring of projectiles out around them. So you had to like find like the little tiniest crack to jump through to avoid them.
And then you had those enemies that would be like on the roof, and they would drop the thing down that would split into two and go across the ground.
Yeah.
If you weren't paying attention, that would hit you. But damn it. Did you guys notice? So the big round fuckers that bounced around that you would kill, and they would spawn into bats, and then you'd kill those and they spawned into worms. Did you notice that if you stood in the corner and as long as you kept your gun pointed at that thing, it couldn't hit you?
Did you notice that when they were in their big ball form, that you could just walk into them and they couldn't hurt you?
No, I didn't realize that, but I would bounce them on the end of my gun. And they wouldn't hurt me. They would just bounce on my gun. And I'm like, what are you doing? Boom, boom, boom. And they
like the big guys couldn't hurt you at all. Like they weren't dangerous until you shot them, and they became like little bat form, which could then bite you. But like in its big ball form, it couldn't hurt you. Like they were like such a non-priority in that form.
No, yeah, dude. Any of the bats can eat a dick. Actually, I tell you what, the ones that they weren't hard, they were annoying, were those little worms.
Yeah.
Because there would be one left that you needed to get, and it would be on the other side of the room, so you'd run over there, it'd disappear, and pop back up where you were just at.
Yeah, those guys were frustrating.
And because I tended to prefer slow weapons with a lot of coverage too, which means even if I did chase the thing down, I would start shooting and it would just dig away again by the time my bullets would reach it.
That's where the homing weapons really came in handy.
Yeah, homing was nice for that.
Yeah, gotta love the homies.
What about bosses? Did you guys have any like favorite boss designs or anything?
Yeah, so I guess kind of talk about the mechanics of the game there a little bit too. So like the way to run through the game is like there'd be 4 stages in the very beginning of the game. There's 4 stages of bosses, and then once you get to the 5th stage, you had to fight the manager. So the first 4 stages had like this rotation of different bosses it could possibly be, and then the 5th stage had a specific boss, the manager, that it always was. So before we get to the managers, like let's talk about like the little bosses in the stages 1 through 4 that we kind of liked. I don't remember her name exactly, but one of my favorites was the goddess, like the god of makeup. Like she would shoot like lipstick canisters at you and stuff like that. I thought she was pretty cool.
I have a list of that pulled up. There's 2. There's Arden and Lero.
Oh, okay.
The goddesses of makeup.
Yeah. They were very similar bosses. So like, I think they even looked the same. Like I love the goddess of makeup. She was pretty cool.
There were a couple ones where they had matching ones like that, though, because like there was the gods of like viral videos, Tick and Talk, for instance.
Yeah, Tick and Talk, gods of mobile videos.
Mobile videos, that's it.
Chain, Block, and Meta, gods of Bittercoin.
I didn't realize there were that many of them.
Like those ones, like I remember I ran into one where there were 3 of them one time. I was like, "What is happening?" Because I was used to there just being 2.
It was McTucky and McFamily, the gods of fast food. Let's see, Remington and Colt, the gods of guns. Yeah. Pewdie and Pidy, the gods of trolls. Tisk. And then there's like Daniel and Phil, the gods of gambling.
Yeah, like, what was that about?
Johnny and Kimmy, the gods of idols.
Oh, Daniel and Phil? They're probably named for Daniel Negreanu and Phil Hellmuth, who are famous poker players.
Really?
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah. Okay, how about this one? Huh? Nick and Hunt, gods of racing. Is there somebody named Nick Hunt?
Got him.
And Tommy and Freddie, gods of plushies.
Like Freddie, like I thought, because Freddie was a bear, so I thought that was kind of a reference to Freddie Fazbear.
I considered that too. Like I was joked and called him Freddie Fazbear when he started getting to the second phase.
Let's see. Oh, there's also Sam and Sung, gods of screens.
I wonder what that one's from.
Sam and Sung. I didn't catch that. I didn't realize that there were 2 of them until really late in there. Like I was like, oh, Tick and Talk are 2 different guys.
And actually, the only other ones that are the normal ones are George and Charlie, the gods of pills. I guess it's Charlie Sheen and George Sacramento. I don't know.
Yeah, but for me, like the ones that stood out were the goddesses of makeup. Did y'all have a favorite pairing out of those?
I actually really, even though I didn't see the other one, actually, I liked Freddy, the one that was like a little plushie on a crane that would just stay up high and shoot at you until you got halfway through the fight, and they would drop off and start bouncing on you.
I really enjoyed the gambling ones where they throw the cards at you and you had to like dodge the cards and stuff. That one was a lot of fun.
Those were cool looking patterns.
Yeah.
They have very shmuppish energy.
Big shmup energy.
He's got such a huge shmup.
Hey.
But okay, so what about managers? Like, did you have a favorite manager?
It's the first manager you come up to is Argus. Since you have this pulled up, I'm sure you can tell me he was the god of what?
The Darknet.
The god of the Darknet. Yeah, that was pretty fun.
And his quote is, "There are no secrets on the internet. He is hidden in the dark corners to observe and control your devices and your life."
Yeah, he is pretty cool. Like, cause like the first phase of him is like he has a bunch of like tiny versions of him come out and start shooting lasers at you. So you have to take out the swarm of the tiny Arguses, and then you have to fight the big one who starts shooting like these wire things that kind of remind me of like a boss from Smash Brothers Ultimate, like Darkeem. Was that the name? Yeah.
Yeah,
Darkon, where they would start shooting the tendrils. He kind of did that kind of similar thing that did. And I thought that was a pretty cool boss. After that was Hal, who was the god of technology, right?
Yeah, the god of machines.
Machines. And that was obviously a reference to Hal.
I can't do that, Dave.
Yeah.
Big reference to Shallow Hal, everyone's favorite movie.
Yes, that's actually a great movie.
It's been a while since I've seen it. And then the last one was Zeus, the god of electricity.
Yeah. Well, the last one for that section.
Yeah, the last one, that's
also
the three main first bosses. So the way it works is like you go through stage 1 through 5. You get to 5, you beat Argus, and then the game ends. Then you can go through again. Then you have to go through 5 and then 6 and fight Hal. Then the game ends, and then you can get to stage 7 and fight Zeus in the next run.
Yeah.
So after Zeus, is there another circuit? Because Zeus
Not
is as far
really.
as
It gets a little bit different at that point, and I'll kind of go into it. But like out of those 3 gods, like Zeus was the least interesting to me out of all of them. I thought Argus and Hal were better thought out and had cooler boss fights.
I think, Hal is awesome.
Yeah.
That's a cool fight.
I like that Hal had kind of a move that was kind of like dripping little binary code that kind of reminded me of the Matrix.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think my favorite attack pattern for Argus is just because I like the eyeballs with the crisscrossing lasers followed by the vines. Like, those are just classic video game boss attacks.
Yeah, I thought Argus was the coolest out of all of them as well.
Yeah, and did we touch on leveling up? That in between the levels, that like in between runs that you go and you like dump into stats to try to like make things better.
Oh no, it's kind of like a skill tree kind of thing. Yeah, no, we didn't even talk about that at all.
Yeah, every time you beat...
Yeah, defeating... okay. Every time you beat one of the gods for the first time, or maybe it's for the first time with that character, I didn't really get far enough in with different characters to say for sure, but you get something called, I think, life gems or faith gems, I think. And you could spend those back when you got... Those were permanent item gains. Like, once you got those, you could spend them back at the bar at the starting room before you go into another run. And those would just unlock a skill tree. And then there were multiple skill trees where once you spent enough, you could unlock a second tree and keep working from there and so forth. And a lot of them unlocked things like new fixtures in the levels.
Like you get like these rooms added to the dungeon. Like one was like they would add a claw machine or a piano room where you had to jump on a piano to the notes of a song, and then you won an item for doing that. And in each one of the skill trees, there was also a character unlocked, so you could get one of those other characters William mentioned briefly earlier, like Matt, the guy that had the dodge roll.
Yeah, and then you also like there was like rooms that you could unlock where it was like a game of chance where you could go up or down.
Yeah.
And it would lock off the other way. So you might end up going into a way with one chest and the other way had 12 chests.
And it's a real kick in the crotch because you can see what was on the other end after you chose.
Of course.
Yeah, for sure. And then you had like the ones that like it added like moldy hearts that you could find that would either benefit you or hurt you.
Yeah.
There were like the little skills that added in barrels that would have keys or would have crystals and things like that, like which there were like a couple different kinds of locks in the game where it was like you either needed keys or you needed these purple crystals to open it or you needed blood basically.
Yeah. And so that also kind of leads into another point that I wanted to touch on, which was the faith meter that shows up in the bottom right hand corner of the screen when you're playing. So there's 2 different types of the faith meter. There's the violence meter and what was the other one called? Wisdom and violence.
Wisdom, I think.
So there's these doors and chests that show up that you can pay gems for to go through. And it costs like 2 or 3 gems to go in. Or you could shoot that door or chest and it would turn this red, thorny, violent looking thing. And you could walk into it and take damage and the chest would open or the door would open. So every time that you would pay the gems to go in, your wisdom meter would grow. Every time that you decided to walk into the thorny thing, your violence meter would grow. And similar things happened in the rooms where, like, if you beat a room without taking damage, your faith meter would go up, and your wisdom meter would go up. Or if you took damage in the room, your violence meter would go up. Which all culminates into when one of those meters fills all the way, you'll hear a mysterious noise. And if you go to one of the teleporters, you can go to this mysterious room. Either the room of Athena or the room of Ares. And if you go to the room of Ares, you can sacrifice a heart container to pick up any item. Or if you go to the room of Athena, she just has 2 items and you can just take one. And she's chill about it.
Yeah. And there's different things on the skill tree, too, that, like, add more items to the Ares room. Mm-hmm. So, like, it gives you a benefit of going that way, too.
Yeah.
But, like, I always tried to go the Athena route because I'm like, I want my health.
Yeah. Yeah. And so with that being said, those are pretty interesting mechanics. But after you beat Zeus, you can also unlock fights with Athena and Ares as well. So in order to do that, you have to fill up those faith meters and get it to where I think you had to have a token of Athena or a token of Zeus, and it would take you into their room after you beat Zeus on your next run, and then you could fight Ares or Athena after Zeus. So that was like the next step of manager after Zeus was Athena or Ares.
And then it started getting into like cursed managers.
Yeah, so then it unlocks cursed Athena, cursed Ares, and cursed Zeus, which honestly were just buffed versions of those bosses that just added a bunch of bullcrap to that made the game a lot less fun to play.
Yeah, and neither of us saw the very final boss, which was Prometheus, right?
Right. I made it to Prometheus 1. Or is there one before Prometheus and after the Cursed? I can't remember. But like, no, I beat both Cursed Athena and Cursed Ares and Cursed Zeus.
Okay, so then the only one after that would be Prometheus.
Okay, so I saw Prometheus once, and I was like, I'm done with this.
That's fair.
I mean, it was bad enough. Cursed Zeus sucked because his entire level just shoots lightning bolts down and random patterns as you're trying to go through the level to make it to the boss fight.
Oh.
It starts adding a bunch of stuff that makes the game less fun and feel less skill-based to me when you're playing it.
And that is where I think we're going to start getting into complaints about this game, is that like it didn't have a lot of staying power. It was fun for a while until it very much just became like a grind in a way, but not a good grind. Like, I love a good JRPG grind, right? There's a difference. But like, this was just like, okay, I just need to run over and over and over and over to get my skills up so I can just keep getting further, keep fighting the same bosses over and over and over.
Yeah.
It started just getting repetitive.
Yeah, every run starts to feel the same. And you're just like going through the game hoping, and Willie, this kind of comes back to something Jude said, hoping to get those certain item drops to make yourself feel like you're at that god level again so that you can have a chance against the cursed managers. Like, It just got to the point where it just didn't feel fun anymore. And like, everything felt the same until the end, where either you felt like, okay, I might have a chance here, or I'm just absolutely screwed. I made it this far for no reason.
Yeah,
and there were some other little hidden mechanics. They're not hidden, but like when you get to like the statue, I never died 3 times in a row, so I don't know what happens. But there's a statue that you like unlock and fix, and if you die 3 times in a row and something happens. Honestly, the thing that they added in that I couldn't figure out why they did it, but I appreciate it, was in the bar. There was a dance floor with like Daft Punk looking people playing in the background, and you could just make your character dance there.
Yeah, that was cool.
Like, that's it. There was nothing to it. There was just that.
Yeah, it's a nice little touch. It's one of those things, like all the in-game references and stuff that you really just appreciate, that kind of adds to the world, makes it feel more like a fun little place.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, is there anything else you guys like to touch on? Or you want to kind of give our ratings on this and get into the quiz?
So kind of what I wanted to kind of say about it was, like, I went into it, like I said at the beginning of the episode, kind of hoping that this would be like the next Hades, the next Dead Cells for me. And I wanted it really badly to be one of those things, and it just unfortunately could not get to that level. Like, I got to the point where I was done with this game in about 8 hours, where, like I said, I spent 100 hours in each of those other 2 games I'd mentioned. So it's like not quite on the same level as those, unfortunately.
Like, most of those 8 hours were good. You just feel like
it just ran out of steam, and it didn't give me that same motivation or feeling of satisfaction to keep playing and keep coming back to it.
Yeah, I completely agree. If I was going to give this game a ranking, I think I would give it 7 neons out of 10 abysses, because it was all right. You know what I mean? It was above average as far as being fun, but it overstayed its welcome. Right? Yeah,
and that's exactly what I was going to give it as well, was 7 out of 10, because like, I like the premise. I think it did a lot of things really well and a lot of things right, but like I said, it just pales in comparison to some of these other better thought out and better performing roguelike games. So 7 neons out of 10 abysses for me as well, because I'm not creative today.
Yeah, well, I didn't hit the same fatigue point as you guys. I think that I could see the writing on the wall, and you guys had messaged me about it a while before then, even just saying, like, yeah, I think once you get to this point, you'll be pretty much good with it. I'm satisfied with it. I'm glad I got it as a free game, but it's really hard to... I can't imagine giving it very much of a different score than that. Like, I think if you gave it an 8, that's wild, and if you gave it a 6, that's confusing. I think it's just... Yeah. It's a 7.
And, like, you hit the point where I said, like, you know, once you beat Jesus, that's probably the point where you should stop playing the game. And like you said, I do think that this game benefits from being one of the free games I got on Epic, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we get into the quiz that I have for you gentlemen, I would like to cover one of our short game list games real quick. I played Cluster Truck.
Oh, yeah, that's been sitting on the list for a long time. How'd that turn out for you?
So, this is going to be a little mini.
Was it a poll winner, or did you just pick it up on your own?
Short game, one of the last 2 short game poll winners.
Oh, that's right. We had.
I played this. The boys didn't. I'm gonna go ahead and say there's not enough to that game to make an episode about it. So I'm gonna give you my feelings about it right now. It's an interesting concept. Basically, you start off, you're standing on the back of a semi, and there's a bunch of other semis all driving straight. And your goal is to get across the tops of them to the end point as fast as possible. And also, it comes into points where, like, shit will happen, like a cliff will crash and it'll make semis crash, and you have to deal with jumping over them and everything. But in all, it's a platformer. It's a first-person platformer jumping over trucks to get to the end. So I'm going to give it a 6. Like, it's all right. I played it for about 30 minutes and maybe an hour, and that was all I needed for it. Like, you know what I mean? I got my fill. It made me a little nauseous, but there's just so much going on. And it was so fast, but it's one of those that, like, if you got it for free or you see it on sale for like $1 and you think that you might be entertained by it, check it out. But I'm not going to say go out and like spend full price on it.
Were there like any other obstacles, or was it just like find the right place to jump to get over to the next truck and keep on, for lack of a better term, keep on trucking?
It was pretty much that. You had to deal with like I said, trucks crashing, and sometimes RNG would just not be with you.
Yeah.
But it was all right. It would not warrant a whole episode. We would have struggled to find a lot to talk about that game. I promise. So yeah, there's Cluster Truck. 6 out of 10. Check it out if it's on sale for $1 or so.
It is free on the Xbox Game Pass right now, so if you do want to check it out, go ahead and do it there if you have Xbox Game Pass.
There you go. I got it for free from Amazon Prime Gaming. So nice. That was how I checked it out. All right, gentlemen. I have prepared a quiz for you guys. So the premise of this was I have a extension in my Google Drive Note Docs thing that is a bad translator, and I can set it to run text distortion 5 times, 10 times, 20 times, 40 times, or 80 times.
That's a lot of times.
I did 20 times for each of these.
Oh no.
Right? So they're a little distorted, but they still make some sense. You should be able to piece it together, and if not, this will be just a funny segment.
Okay, are you translating like the O-dubs, or what are you translating to get to the game?
I translated the descriptions of the game, so like either the Steam description or like the description from a Wikipedia, like one of the two.
Okay.
And I redacted because there were certain like proper nouns that it wouldn't change, so I redacted those. But this is going to be like, whose line is it anyway? Points don't matter. It's just for entertainment. And shout out to Outside Xbox. I got this idea from them. I watched Mike. He went through and he took what was written on the back of the Xbox games and he ran it through a translator a bunch of times and then would ask Jane and Andy about it. So,
okay.
All right. Up first.
Let's go.
Let's start the game again. Now all the powers of the world have taken over the world. You must go to the depths of hell to save him. Fight against powerful, terrifying, deadly monsters and monsters. Use powerful weapons. Experience the most exciting explosions and the bloodiest, most powerful and terrifying explosions.
Doom.
Huh?
Doom.
Doom? Okay, Willie, what about you? What do you think?
Is that the end of it?
That's the end of it.
I'm going to go with Quake just to be different.
Okay. Here is the original. Let the obsession begin. Again. This time, the entire forces of the Neverworld have overrun Earth. To save her, you must descend into the Stygian depths of hell itself. Battle mightier, nastier, deadlier enemies and demons and monsters. Use more powerful weapons. Survive more mind-blowing explosions and more of the bloodiest, fiercest, most awesome blast fest ever. Doom 2.
I count that as a win for me, because we haven't played the original Doom on a show, so...
Did we do Doom 2016?
Oh, don't be a pedantic prick.
I'm just kidding. You got the point.
Don't be a pedantic prick about mistranslated game descriptions.
I will be a pedantic peck.
All right. Are you ready for number 2? All right.
Kind of.
Blank is a fun action adventure and definitely not a platformer, as there is no jump button.
Oh, it's Yoku.
The scumbag boy of Court Town must rise from the shadows and stand against the bleakness, a dark force bent on extinguishing joy. We must use blank and emotion to bring the town back to life.
Wait, no. I think I might have an idea.
I'm sorry, I'm sitting here like racking my brain like the bleakness that...
Now,
it sounded like Yoku until it wasn't.
Say, I limited myself with only a couple of games that you guys didn't play for the show, but they're still show games. So
right.
Just keep that in mind.
Yeah, I'm like drawing a blank. I think Yoku was a good guess. Like,
well, I'm gonna unlocking Yoku as my guess and say it was the color game. It was the one with some colors.
Last Tinker, City of Colors.
Yeah, Last Tinker, City of Colors. That's my
guess. I'm going with Yoku.
Okay. The Last Tinker is a joyous action adventure and definitely not a platformer, as there is no jump button. Koru, a boy from the slums of Color Town, must rise and stand against the bleakness, a dark force intent on wiping out joy. Koru must use color. Koryu. What is this? Yakuza? Last Tinker Yakuza. Koru must use color and emotion to restore life to Color Town. How it took Koru, a boy from the slums of Color Town, to the scumbag boy of Court Town was just tremendous.
That's hilarious, actually.
All right.
So I guess we're 1-1 now.
Cross a path full of snakes. Kill skeletons in cowboy hats. Deal with evil cows and face scary ghosts. Find your way out of trouble like silver snake oil and unravel the mysteries of deep space like an agile train. Or let your fists do the talking like fearsome bullfighter. Explore a large world and meet colorful characters. Some good, some bad, and some ugly.
Yeah, I'm just giving that one to Willie because I know he's right.
West of Loathing. Say howdy to West of Loathing, a single-player slapstick comedy adventure role-playing game set in the Wild West of the Kingdom of Loathing universe. And honestly, the translation was not much different from the rest of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of got that one. It even retained the reference to the movie title. That's pretty good.
All right. So it's 2-1. Points don't matter.
Yeah.
The story of the common sense movement. In Blank, players embark on a journey of self-discovery as Blank, a young woman whose morals have been replaced by anger and hatred after a horrific experience 3 years ago. In Persian mythology, period. Like that's the sentence. In Persian mythology, Blank joins a group of pirates who sail the seas and visit islands that make up the sacred kingdom of Blank in the current adventure.
Ooh, this one. This is interesting. I don't remember the name of it, but it's got a badass name. That second point-and-click adventure game we did.
Oh, I know the one you mean. Shit, what's that one called? Something 2.
I don't remember. I know the game you're talking about.
It's not right because Dalton doesn't know the name of it, so I'm wrong. So...
Hold on, no.
It's Lost Grimoires 2, Shard of Mystery.
Let me look at the Lost Grimoire 2.
That's Nate's guess.
Yeah, I know it's wrong, but it's okay.
What was you, Willie?
I really have no intuition on this one at all. Like, I got lost in that one. Nate sounds better than anything I could come up with. I'm out.
I will give you guys this. Neither of you played this game.
Okay.
Okay.
But this is the most successful episode of the game of the show. A Tale of Emotion versus Reason. In Tales of Berseria,
wow, okay.
Players embark on a journey of self-discovery as they assume the role of Velvet, a young woman whose once kind demeanor has been replaced and overcome with a festering anger and hatred after a traumatic experience 3 years prior to the events within Tales of Berseria.
I'll be honest, I don't think I would have got it if you've read the real description.
I think the phrase "in Persian mythology" period completely destroyed any chance I had at getting it because I just fixated on that.
No fucking clue where that came from. No clue. I thought that maybe saying her would give you guys like, okay, we can narrow it down to female protagonists, and you might have gotten it through that.
Hey, my game had a female protagonist that I named.
Yeah, you did. All right. So. No one got that one. All right, let's see.
At least he named a game. He did better than me.
Just kidding, not at all.
A young man and his friend, as children, went to the Holy Mountain to see a procession arrive at the village. After a series of unexpected events, this horror player discovers that he is blank, of a famous character of a long-forgotten era. The young hero sets out to discover the secrets of the past and the unknown.
Dragon Quest XI.
But he was not happy. After revealing his name to the hero calls himself Blank and is pursued by an army of villains. In order to escape from exile, the hero collects wonderful creatures that are considered the new light of life. When Lucanaria, whatever the fuck that word is, and her new friends learn of these dangers that threaten the world, she and they, again, weird translation, embark on a journey that crosses continents and oceans.
Is it that Digimon Cyber Sleuth game?
Is that your guess?
That's my guess. Digimon Cyber Sleuth.
Willie, what's your guess?
I said Dragon Quest.
Dragon Quest. All right.
I don't think it's right anymore, but I said it early, so I'm going to stay with it.
The original. A young man about to participate in his village's coming-of-age ceremony travels to a sacred stone alongside his childhood friend. And after a series of unexpected events, this intrepid adventurer learns that he is the reincarnation of a legendary hero of a forgotten age. The young hero sets forth into an unknown world on a journey to unravel the mystery of his past.
Kind of got weird in the translation there for a little bit.
Yeah. I got what the first couple sentences were saying, then I'm like, where the hell are we now?
Yeah, it started throwing in she and stuff.
They? Yeah. Like it turned hero into a she-they, apparently.
But yeah, Willie, you were correct. It's Dragon Quest XI.
Willie's grasp on the non-English language is way stronger than mine.
I can barely speak English, so...
All right, here's one. Good fucking luck. That's all I'm going to say for this one is... His uncle was testing the UP logo. His father was piloting a NASA rocket. And his...
What the hell are you talking about?
And his mother was busy lifting the front of the tube. Meet Blank. An intelligent Blank with a big personality. With their red tongues, powerful wind, and psychic powers, these dangerous creatures are ready to slay TV and movie heroes in this amazing game. Like...
It's Gex!
Hyperdimension Neptunia.
Okay. Hyperdimension Neptunia and Gex are the guesses. Let's see. The original. His uncle modeled for a yuppie shirt logo. His dad blew up in a NASA rocket, and his busy mom raised him in front of the TV. Meet Gex, a wisecracking gecko with a major attitude.
Nate just left the room because he's mad that I know Gex's backstory and he doesn't.
I can't believe you got that. Like, really. I am super impressed that you got that.
That's insane. I had to get up and leave the room because of that.
I told them.
God damn, that's impressive. What was it? Was it the intelligent Blank with a big personality with the red tongue?
No, I thought when it said raised in front of the tube that it meant Gex grew up watching cartoons and TV all day. And then when it said TV and movie stars, I'm like, yeah, I think that's it. Because some of the levels were based on, movie TV.
This is like a party at Mel Brooks' house.
Here we are, Pismo Beach, all the clams I can eat.
All right.
It's time.
God, that game was horrible.
I like the 3D Gexes way more than I like the one that we played.
It could be a lot better. I'd be willing to try them, but the one we played for the show, woof.
Yeah. 3DO, you could have been good. All right, here's the next one. Get into your favorite adventure vehicle and embark on a perilous journey through a strange land full of evil creatures and dangerous obstacles on an exciting mission to rescue the stranded blank and blank. He broke down.
Full throttle.
Oh.
Okay.
I like that. That's pretty good. That actually sounds really good.
Y'all are welcome to guess the same thing. I mean, like I said, points don't matter. I like them.
No, I want to keep score. So
It doesn't matter to us, Dalton. It matters to him.
We'll say it's a really obtuse description of Kerbal Space Program.
Okay. The original. Pounce inside your cozy armored mech and set off on a dangerous trek through an alien underworld full of irritable creatures and treacherous obstacles in a valiant effort to save your stranded captain and his crashed spaceship.
Oh!
That would be Gato Roboto,
it
gentlemen.
would be Gato Roboto.
Yeah. I was like, he broke down. It's not even, it's the last sentence. That's the whole sentence is he broke down. It's not even capitalized. It's just, he broke down.
I mean, the motorcycle broke down. I thought it was full throttle.
All right. You are here for a reason. A giant aerospace research facility on blank has encountered a deadly and powerful beast, and only one man stands between their planet and ours. As the lone Dammit team... Dammit team. All you have to do is kill them all.
Doom 2016.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out if it was Doom 3 or 2016, but that attitude towards the end sounds a lot more like 2016. I'll just say Doom 3 anyway, but I think Nate's got this point. No, wait, I want to say Quake. Sorry, I'm Quake.
Okay. You've come here for a reason. The Union Aerospace Corporation's massive research facility on Mars is overwhelmed by fierce and powerful demons, and only one person stands between their world and ours. As the lone Doom Marine, you have been activated to do one thing. Kill them all. It kept kill them all same.
Nice. Kill them all.
Yeah, that would be Doom.
Damn it, Doom Marine became damn it.
That's amazing.
Yeah. If I could, Doom 2016. So that is correct, Nate.
I hope Damn It Squad is in the next Smash game.
Blank engineers develop an interactive experience that allows you to enjoy life in the comfort of the wilderness.
Life in the comfort of the wilderness.
With huge worlds, unique battles, beautiful graphics, multiple game options, and strong characters, every minute is a battle for survival against external threats, aliens, mega mutations, and dangerous animals.
I feel like there's a phrase there that's setting me down.
I know, like I have two things in my head.
Can you give that? Can you get it one more again?
Blank engineers develop an interactive experience that allows you to enjoy life in the comfort of the wilderness. With huge worlds, unique battles, beautiful graphics, multiple gameplay options, and strong characters. Every minute is a battle for survival against external threats, aliens, mega mutations, and dangerous animals.
Okay, what was the name of that game that you and Ryan had played? There was the space one, like Outer Wilds. Is that the name?
The Outer Worlds.
Outer Worlds. That's where I'm going.
Okay.
The phrase mega mutations really got me locked on hard, and I think that might be a weird translation of super mutants. So I'm going to say Fallout 3, which I'm guessing
that is the other thing I was thinking, but I was like, it can't be Fallout 3 because there's multiple worlds and there's
Alien seems weird. Yeah.
The original. Vault-Tec engineers have worked around the clock for an interactive reproduction of Wasteland life for you to enjoy from the comfort of your own vault. Included is an expansive world, unique combat, and shockingly realistic visuals, tons of player choice, and an incredible cast of dynamic characters. Every minute is a fight for survival against the terrors of the outside world, radiation, super mutants, and hostile mutated creatures.
I am anger.
Nate is becoming a super mutant before our eyes.
God, Nate, smash.
Where'd you get that minigun?
That's no minigun.
Oh.
There ain't nothing mini about this nuke.
Good. All right. Blank and her adopted son, Blank, embarked on a long journey to become shoemakers. Vowing to...
I think I know what it is. It's just really screwed up everything.
Vowing to bring justice and peace to the country. But when a dark conspiracy threatens to spark war, his journey becomes a quest to save the country's princess and her honor. It's not Mario. I know what you're thinking, but it's not Mario. We haven't played that for the show.
Yet.
That last part really screwed me up, but I'm still going to go with my initial suspicion, which is that adopted son should be adopted brother, and shoemaker should be bracer.
That's what I was thinking too.
All right, so you're both thinking Trails in the Sky?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The original. Estelle Bright and her adopted brother Joshua set out on a long pilgrimage to become bracers. Ooh, how did bracer become shoemaker?
I guess like a bracer is like a piece of armor and maybe like an accessory, and somewhere
Maybe I got
along
confused
the
for
way.
Forrest Gump's leg braces.
Oh,
Yeah,
maybe.
but when a dark plot threatens to rekindle the sparks of war, their journey becomes an epic quest to protect queen, country, and honor.
Like, I was wondering where the princess came from
Yeah.
too, but that makes sense.
We could protect the princess's
it
honor.
really
It's like
got a
people
lot
are
of
trying to have sex with the princess. You're like, no, and you have to fight them off.
Like when Dot Matrix's virgin alarm goes off in Spaceballs.
Yes, exactly. All right, let's see what's next. Okay. Immersed in a world of fairies, humans are on the verge of extinction. Iron is more valuable than gold. There is still hope. This RPG features intricate character development, hundreds of unique items, creative choices, and predictable outcomes.
Predictable outcomes. Fairies. RPG.
I know.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Hyperdimension Neptunia.
Okay. All right. It's got to be right eventually, right? What about you, Willie? What you going to say?
I know Quake.
I'm actually going to edit and say Final Fantasy VII because I think that translation just got really confused.
Wait, hold on. Run it by again. I want to see if there's any chance it's actually Final Fantasy VII now, because I just want to hear that again.
Immersed in the world of fairies, humans are on the verge of extinction. Iron is more valuable than gold. There is still hope. This RPG features intricate character development, hundreds of unique items, creative choices, and predictable outcomes.
Does have predictable outcomes.
Hundreds of unique items makes me think this might actually be something that I don't know if you've played that for the show though. I'm just going to stick with Quake because it's very funny to me to pick
We got Quake, we got Hyperdimension Neptunia.
I think it's just something I haven't thought of and I'm not going to come to.
Original. Enter an apocalyptic fantasy world where humanity is on the brink of extinction.
Don't tell me this
Iron
is Borderlands because I was so close to saying Borderlands.
Damn it! Same.
Iron is valued above gold and trust is hard earned. This ARPG features complex character development, hundreds of unique items,
It's Grim Dawn! Iron is the currency!
quests with choices and consequences.
Oh!
It took predictable outcomes was quests with choice and consequence became predictable outcomes. It's Grim Dawn. Yep, it's Grim Dawn.
Heck.
Oh! The items thing was a hint, but that made me think of Borderlands.
See,
but Grim
I
Dawn
was
the
right
much
there
better.
with Borderlands
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
All right.
This is a good quiz, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like this. This is one of the best
We're
segments
getting
we've
towards
had
the
yet.
end, but we still got some few left. Ride down the road for a minute. There is no cure in the world. Then a man in a suit appears and says he has a contract for you and your group. But when you arrive,
Full throttle!
You'll
Full
have-
throttle! Full throttle!
you'll
That
have
one's
a
full
ball on your
throttle,
head,
yeah.
and the law on your back, and a feeling in your gut that the road ahead will be tougher.
I ain't putting my
love
mouth
that
on
it's,
that. It's
saying
full
things
throttle.
I love that. It sounded like it got a couple words wrong by like transliteration instead of translation errors. Like, go through that again.
Ride down the road for a minute.
For a minute.
There is no cure in the world.
I think that should have been there is no care in the world. I think there's a couple more
Then
that
a
were
man
like
in
that
a suit
too.
appears and says he has a contract for you and your group. But when you arrive, you'll have a ball on your head, the law on your back, and a feeling in your gut that the road ahead will be tougher.
I like the ball on my head.
I thought I was going to come up with a phrase that ball in my head could mean, but I was going to say bail is not bounty. It was bounty. Yeah, I think you're right now. I think you got it.
So here's the original. 1 minute you're on the road, riding, not a care in the world. Then some guy in a suit comes along, says he's got a deal for you and your gang. But when you come you got a lump on your head, the law on your back, and a feeling in your gut that the road you're on is about to get a lot rougher. Full throttle.
A lump, a ball on your
Yeah, I know, dude. I know. Like a lump and ball.
Well, as long as you don't have a lump on your ball, then we should be okay.
Okay, next. I love this first sentence in this one. The tomb of the Guardians is a poor example of an ancient tomb. Period. Build and manage your blank and open another businesses by finding...
I was going to say Paganitsu. I feel pretty far off already.
Manage your blank and open other businesses by finding shortcuts to reduce costs. Use all the resources available to you. After all, this game is about the spirit of blank. Do your best to build a successful business. Oh, it's also a love story.
See, I was a graveyard keeper for a minute here.
It could still be graveyard keeper, I think.
I don't know where else to go with this, so I'm going to stick with graveyard keeper on this.
Okay. Willie, what was you?
Oh, yeah, because it is a love story, because he's trying to get back to his lady who's alive. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's graveyard keeper. It's got to be.
The original. Graveyard Keeper is the most inaccurate medieval cemetery management sim of all time. Build and manage your own graveyard and expand into other ventures while finding shortcuts to cut costs. Use all of the resources that you can find. After all, this is a game about the spirit of capitalism. Doing whatever it takes to build a thriving business. Oh, and it's also a love story. That part didn't change. I love it.
It did not.
All right.
You've almost brought it back, by the way. My scorekeeping is 6-5.
All right. You are a protector and a warrior with a powerful weapon. Wander through the abandoned military bases, ancient castles, lava-filled tombs, and Gothic cathedrals in dark.
It's actually Quake
Searching
this time!
for treasure among fallen bandits, shape-shifting heroes, and twisted creatures. Only by collecting runes can you destroy the ancient evil that threatens all of humanity.
Yes.
Fair.
You are a ranger. The warrior armed with a powerful arsenal of weapons. Fight corrupted knights, deformed ogres, and an army of twisted creatures across the 4 dark dimensions of the infested military bases, ancient medieval castles, lava-filled dungeons, and Gothic cathedrals in search of the 4 magic runes. Only after you have collected the runes will you hold the power to defeat ancient evil that threatens all of humanity in Quake.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I giggled earlier when you kept guessing Quake. I was like...
It's going to be right eventually.
It'll be right eventually.
The next one's Hyperdimension Neptunia, right?
Nope, this next one, I love it so much. Okay. Block, load, and face the angry. Get ready for racist madness. Play as one of 4 lucky mercenaries and kill everything that stands in your way. Exhilarating gameplay, fast-paced combat, tons of weapons, gameplay elements, and 4-player co-op. Blank challenges all modern gun factions. Blank puts you in the role of an agent in the criminal underworld in the ruins with pandas to find a secret
it's
home
Borderlands, right?
of powerful alien technology.
It is the ruins of pandas. The ruins of Pandora. Oh my
so
god,
good.
So,
Please don't stop. Please don't stop. Don't edge me, Dalton.
the only other thing in it is to find the secret home of a powerful alien technology called the Blank.
The ruins of pandas.
The racist.
Dude, get ready for racist madness.
What was racist supposed to be?
So the original is lock, load, and face the madness. Get ready for mind-blowing insanity. Somehow that became racist madness. Play as one of 4 trigger-happy mercenaries and take out everything that stands in your way. With its addictive action, frantic first-person shooter combat, massive arsenal of weaponry, RPG elements, and 4-player co-op, Borderlands is a breakthrough experience that challenges all the conventions of a modern shooter.
Face the angry.
Yeah, it's Borderlands places you in the role of a mercenary on the lawless and desolate planet of Pandora, hell-bent on finding a legendary stockpile of powerful alien technology, known as the Vault.
Turn and face the angry racist madness.
The angry, get ready for racist madness. And there's an exclamation point effect here. It's just like, yeah!
Nice.
Oh, jeepers.
All right. Game of the Year, awarded across more than 50 genres.
Wow.
Damn. That's an impressive resume.
Blank combines gaming and competition with award-winning technology to create the world of music players can imagine. There is an excellent multiplayer mode that lets you play with friends and foes from all over the world. That's it. I know.
Can I hear that again? I didn't get anything helpful out of that.
Okay. I redacted a word that I didn't redact in the thing, but I'll give it to you.
You can keep it redacted. You can keep it redacted. I think we can.
Game of the Year, awarded across more than 50 genres. Blank combines gaming and competition with award-winning technology to create the world of music players can imagine. There is an excellent multiplayer mode that lets you play with friends and foes from all over the world.
What game has multiplayer? I'm not gonna accept that multiplayer is not an actual part of this. You know?
No, but I think I've got something here. I think 30 genres games of the year should probably be 30 publications games of the year. So it's got to be something that's really well regarded.
Yeah, I mean that would make sense.
I can give you the redacted word if you would like.
I don't remember where it's at in the sentence, so you might have to read it one more time.
No, that's even better. You don't remember where it's at in the sentence if you know the word, but you're like, or whatever.
Okay.
The redacted word.
What's the word? Just say the word.
What do you think?
Valve.
Valve?
Valve.
Is it Half-Life?
Is it? Portal 2? No, Portal 2. Portal 2.
Oh,
Portal 2.
Okay.
Multiplayer. Oh, and music because I think let's hear it one more time.
Okay, I'll use it with the word in there. Game of the Year awarded across more than 50 genres. Valve combines gaming and competition with award-winning technology to create the world of music players can enjoy. There is an excellent multiplayer mode that lets you play with friends and foes from all over the world.
Friends and foes, though. Is there a counter-player mode in Portal?
Lock in Half-Life. I'll lock it.
I'm gonna stick with Half-Life. Yeah.
So we got Portal 2 and we got Half-Life. All right. Named Game of the Year by over 50 publications, Valve's debut title blends action and adventure with award-winning technology to create a frighteningly realistic world where players must think to survive, also including an exciting multiplayer mode that allows you to play against friends and enemies around the world. It's Half-Life.
Good job.
Portal seemed close enough then. Until he said debut, I wasn't sure.
We got two more, part of the official quiz. There's a third one.
Okay.
The third one we haven't played. The third one is my host pick.
Ooh, I like this.
Okay. So, but we got two more.
We should make that one worth extra points.
That was worth 69 points. Let's go.
Okay,
Blank is a young gangster loan shark, but when Polly died and the family business collapsed, Syrup felt guilty. Meanwhile, Blank was exiled from Blank for breaking the law. Mamo came from the club and went home and batted.
Baited? This isn't a game.
What?
This is the plot of The Sopranos.
Okay, maybe it's taking huge swings and misses at character names here.
Polly.
Polly, yeah, you're right. It's Polly Walnuts, Sopranos. You tried to trick us. Can you read that again?
Yeah.
Did you ever play a Grand Theft Auto game at some point?
Did we? Mm. Blank is...
What was that Yoda noise?
Blank is a young gangster loan shark, but when Polly died and the family business collapsed, Syrup felt guilty. Meanwhile, Blank was exiled from Blank for breaking the law.
Yakuza 0!
Came from the club and went home and batted.
Yakuza 0!
It's what? Oh, no!
Syrup is Kiryu!
Hold on, one more time? Syrup is Kiryu? Can we hear it again? I want to see if that fits. Oh my goodness.
Blank is a young gangster loan shark, but when Polly died and the family business collapsed, Syrup felt guilty. Meanwhile, Blank was exiled from Blank for breaking the law.
He was exiled from the
Mamo
land,
came
though.
from the club and went home and batted.
Mamo came home
This
from the
Mamo
club.
came home
Mamo is our boy with the eye patch, and he batted.
No way!
He's Majima. Mamo is Majima.
No. You think Mamo
This
was-
all
oh my God,
lines up too well to not be right. If I'm wrong, I will leave the room again.
No. I think you're good. I don't think I would have got there in 100,000 years. Go ahead. I don't have a guess.
My only explanation for syrup felt guilty is that Kiryu sounds a lot like Karo syrup because it's Kazuma Kiryu is a junior Yakuza who collects debts. But when a debtor turns up dead, the family business is threatened and Kiryu finds himself on the wrong end of a bad deal. Meanwhile, Goro Majima has been exiled to Osaka for disobeying orders. Now working as the manager of Club Grand, he yearns to return home and gets his chance when a hit is put on the table.
I don't know where bad came from, but it helped.
A hit. I think it's a hit. Like, you got a hit.
A hit, a bat. Oh.
Okay.
He does have that slugger stance, too.
Satan has infiltrated the blank, and only you have the power to stop it. Now your weapon creation is an epic battle to destroy evil enemies in unimaginable places. Security was lost, and people were arrested. Are you taking back blank?
Satan.
Sunday. Or are you taking back Sunday? Let's see. The obvious is too obvious.
Face the angry. Just come out here and say it.
Face the angry.
Let's see. So, can we get that read one more time, my dude?
Yeah, I'll read it one more time, and then if you want, I'll read it again without the redactions. Satan has infiltrated the blank, and only you have the power to stop it. Now your weapon creation is an epic battle to destroy evil enemies in unimaginable places. Security was lost, and people were arrested. Are you taking back blank?
Satan is the Joker. This is Arkham Asylum.
Okay. Oh, that's good. I actually want to say I really don't think it's Doom 3. I think that Arsenal Creations thing makes absolutely no sense. Have you played a Diablo game for the show before?
Question.
That's a good question that you're not going to answer. That's what I get for not listening to every single episode I'm not on yet. Hold on. Wait.
Nah, I'll give you that. No, we have not played a Diablo game. Much to my chagrin.
Okay.
I really like Diablo.
We did play Grim Dawn. That was a little Diablo.
We already had Grim Dawn as one of the answers on this quiz.
I know. And it would have been more abstract even if it was just describing the plot, because Grim Dawn's plot's more abstract than Diablo's.
Now, I can give it to you again without the redaction. At least I can give it to you without one redaction. One will absolutely give it away.
Yeah, but if the other word turns out to just be like Mars or something, that kind of gives the whole plot away.
Okay.
I'll just call it Doom 3, but I'm not happy with it.
Okay, so we got Doom 3, and Nate, what was your guess?
Arkham Asylum.
Arkham Asylum. A corruptive presence has invaded the Federal Bureau of Control. Only you have the power to stop it. The world is now your weapon in an epic fight to annihilate an ominous enemy through deep and unpredictable environments. Containment has failed. Humanity is at stake. Will you regain control?
Nice.
Now, the original translated one, I redacted some stuff. Here's what it said, and I think this would have given it been easier on you guys. Satan has infiltrated the FBI. And only you have the power to stop it. Now with your weapon creation is an epic battle to destroy evil enemies in unimaginable places. Security was lost and people were arrested. Are you taking back control? See, like, I would have had to have blanked that regardless, but like Satan infiltrated the FBI, I was like, that might be a giveaway, but
I'm not sure if I would have got it from there or not. I would have got it closer. But wow, that was great. Satan equals corruption. Right. So I guess this is the big announcement, huh? Yep. Well, I think our score ends up being 9-8 or something like that.
I don't even know
for everything.
What this game is, because Dalton didn't put in the show notes. It just says current game Neon Abyss, next game Dalton's choice. He didn't even let me cheat.
Yeah, I kayfabed this one.
I didn't look at the notes because I'm a bad podcaster.
Patch Skin blank is a real fight. The player appears in third person on the screen until the camera is moved. The game takes place in blank, which is unlocked from the beginning of the game, and players can go anywhere in his country. Players are free to move around the game and use weapons and movements and destroy their enemies. Blank can fly around the city on his helmet. If you attach a rope to a part that displays information on the screen. Oh, no, I'm sorry. If you attach a rope to a part of the machine, you can dive and fly. For example, in Patch Skin, the player can use a screen, which is a screen that displays information on the screen. B dash preparation. Click and copy. The technology is also used for legitimate purposes, such as identifying firearms. Players can find tips and tricks in the special games, such as puzzles and tricks. There you go.
Oh. Okay, I've got a few places my brain's go. Should we just alternate guesses and then have them try to redo it or something?
Like, because...
Yeah, I think my guess would have been a series-based guess.
I guess a series, we can narrow it down from there.
Assassin's Creed.
Okay.
I was going to say Just Cause.
Neither.
How'd we do? Damn!
Okay, so, do you guys want to try to guess game, or was that your guesses and you just want me to read it now?
We're not going to guess.
I'm not going to guess
it
completely.
Okay.
Metal Gear Solid 5.
Okay. Neither.
Jeez.
I'll give you each one more guess. Let's see what you got. 3 guesses each.
Can we hear it again?
My brain is like on Ubisoft mode for some reason here.
I feel that.
Patch Skin.
Blank.
Is a real fight.
Patch Skin feels like it
sounds like a
mean
slur.
something.
I mean...
Doesn't it? Oh, Patch Skin. A smooth skin.
It sounds like something that... I was going to say, it sounds like something ghouls and smooth skins call someone that's in between
This is
both
Fallout 4.
The players appear in third person on the screen until the camera is moved. The game takes place in the blank, which is unlocked from the beginning of the game, and the player can go anywhere in his country. Players are free to move around the game and use weapons and movements to find and destroy their enemies. Blank can fly around the city on his helmet. If you attach a rope to a part of the machine, you can dive and fly. For example, in Patch Skin, the player can use a quote-unquote screen, which is a screen that displays information on the screen. I can't get through that without laughing. Jesus Christ. B dash preparation, click and copy. The technology is also used for legitimate purposes, such as identifying firearms. Players can find tips and tricks in the special games, such as puzzles and tricks.
So you have the ability, basically, to attach ropes and get all around your city that's free moving. Is this Spider-Man?
I was going to guess Cyberpunk, whatever number, 2077, or whatever the fuck that number is.
Okay, so we got Spider-Man, we got Cyberpunk. Those are the final guesses. You locking those
Locked in. Let's go.
Boys. Batman Arkham City is an open world action game that incorporates tactics from stealth games. It is presented from the third person perspective, showing the playable character on the screen and allowing the camera to be freely rotated around it. The game is set, Nate is doing a dance and I knew he would. The game is set within Arkham City, which is open to the player from the beginning of the game, allowing them to travel freely anywhere from within its boundaries. The players can move silently through the game, using a combination of gadgets and stealth moves to sneak up on enemies and incapacitate them. How this got turned into Helmet? Batman can use his cape to glide around the city, diving downwards and swooping upwards to extend his flight, and he can use his grapnel gun's retracting rope to attach it to out-of-reach ledges. As Batman, the player is able to use Detective Vision, a visual mode that highlights elements of interests on screen, such as character status, collectibles, and clues. The mode is also used to perform forensic activities, such as tracking down the source of a sniper rifle. The player has access to an in-game criminal database, which includes forensic puzzles, as well as a network for hacking communication frequencies.
I want to point something out. The reason I didn't think it could possibly be this game, one reason, because it actually did cross my mind for a second, but Dalton told me there was a good chance I was going to hate his next host pick.
Yeah. Well, I said that when my next host pick was Tomb Raider 2.
Okay. So you hear me say Tomb Raider.
Yeah, because I really did. I was going to pick Tomb Raider 2, which is a game that I hold in my heart. It was one of my first games on PlayStation back in the day. I don't know how well it holds up, though.
Right.
So I was like, y'all might hate it. Because it's tank controls like 3D platformer, but still fun.
Yeah.
Well, tank controls ish. Anyway, But you beating Arkham Asylum and you were like, man, I'm going to dive right into Arkham City, made me load up Arkham City, and I started playing it and I was like, fuck, now I really want to play this game. So I've been talking about this behind the scenes with Jeremy. And Jeremy's like, oh, I've never played that. I've been meaning to look for a reason to play it too. So I think he is going to join us to talk about Arkham City as well.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, I knew that would make Nate's day. I see he was doing a little happy dance. Y'all couldn't see it on camera, but yeah, I switched it. Batman, Arkham City. I just feel like beating some people up. Spider-Man was a good shout, though. Spider-Man was a good shout.
Yeah,
that was very close.
I got as close as I could, man. I feel like I got a lot of the clues.
Yeah, I think you'll be fine to play City without playing Asylum. I think you might have trouble going back to Asylum after beating City, though, Willie.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, one of these days we're gonna have to step back from Yakuza Kiwami 2 to Yakuza 3,
sure.
right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, you can absolutely like go on Wiki, read a synopsis of Asylum. Because Asylum's really not that long of a game unless you're doing other stuff. So like, just read what happens. That way you're kind of familiar with what's going on in the very beginning of City. But other than that, it kind of explains it too. So
yeah, all right, cool. Yeah, that's completely fine. I do feel like that's a series I've been meaning to get into, and even if I play City first, I don't feel like it'll be much trouble to go back to a game.
It's kind of like what I was saying at the beginning of this episode, though. It just feels like Asylum with better, more fluid controls in new gadgets.
Good.
Yeah, for sure. And I like the fact that you can't do it through the main game until you beat it, but I think it's afterwards when you're roaming around, or if you do challenge mode stuff, you can like try on the different outfits. So like you can be like Batman Beyond.
That's so cool.
And things like that. It's cool.
Oh.
I will say,
what's Batman Beyond's game? Terry McGinnis?
I don't remember.
I don't remember, brother.
I think it was Terry, right?
I do want to point out
Terry Bollea.
Terry Bollea. But Spider-Man, you can change your costumes whenever. Like once you get to a certain point in the story and Peter like fixes his costume.
Peter.
After it gets rid of Peter. Throwback to the people who were in chat earlier. God damn it. You can just switch between costumes at any time. Like, and I really liked that. And there's like a plethora of costumes. Plus, there's like a shitload of costumes I haven't unlocked yet. So like the ones that I have on Spider-Man are just the little DLC costumes that you can get, which I think are free on the PC version. But anyways, yeah, man. So we'll be back in 2 weeks with Arkham City. So I guess that just leaves some housekeeping, right, gentlemen?
Let's do it.
I believe so. All right.
Yep.
If you would do us a wonderful favor, if you could just go on iTunes or Spotify, wherever you listen to the show, and leave us a 5-star review, that would mean a shit ton to us. We recently hit 10 reviews on iTunes. 10 5-star reviews.
Thank you so much.
I believe that we had said we were going to give away some Steam keys if we did that. So we'll figure that out. We'll hash that out. And
come to the Discord. It'll be on there for sure.
Yeah.
We'll try to discuss it next episode too if it hasn't already taken place.
You can join the Discord at bit.ly/TSMP Discord, all capital letters. Come in, join us, chat. The community is growing and everyone's super chill and I love it.
Actually, you know what? Quickly.
Yeah.
One of the keys will be for Spider-Man.
Oh, well there you go.
Oh,
there you go, dude. So if you want to come in, we'll figure out how we're gonna do that as far as giving them away. But we will, and there you go. He said one of the keys will be for Spider-Man, so one of the keys will be for Spider-Man. Fucking bada boom. So yeah, bit.ly/TSMP Discord, all capital letters. If you would like to support the show, it's patreon.com/The Steam Machine Podcast. And you can check us out on Facebook too, as like facebook.com/group/The Steam Machine Podcast, I believe. And on Twitter is at Steam_podcast. I do try to be active on Twitter. I am awful about checking the Facebook. Like my Facebook these days is wrestling clips, cute animal videos, and like music. Like that's it. Like so, it's a cesspool over there. So I try to stay away. It's not that Twitter's not. I just don't see that side of Twitter.
Right.
I just don't go to that side of Twitter. But yeah, Steam_podcast on Twitter. Come check us out. If you want easy links to all of this stuff that I've mentioned is bit.ly/The Steam Machine Podcast, capitalized phonetically. You can find links on there too to our merch site, tsmpproductions.threadless.com. Get you a nice shirt. There's a link to my Bandcamp. If you like the show's music, I make music. NileTheNightmare.bandcamp.com. Shout out to YabsPod, the end of the BS podcast that I do with my buddy Jeremy, who you will be hearing with us on the Arkham City episode. And also shout out to the JRPG Report, my weekly JRPG news show, which recently, apparently, one of the episodes has just decided to fucking take off way higher than I ever expected it to. First, for no reason, just a random episode that me and James did together. But yeah, anyway, Nate, please, sir, plug your stuff, my good man.
Yeah, I've been garbage at doing anything online other than recording this podcast, but you can kind of find me on Twitch, Twitter, and TikTok. Mostly on Twitter these days at Turtle Bear Man. But I don't know. I haven't really been feeling streaming very much lately, to be perfectly honest. Putting more effort into this podcast has felt better. I'd like to put more effort into this podcast TikTok as well. So go to the Steam Machine TikTok and join that, please.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. We got followed today by Tadpog Streams.
Nice.
And I was like, hey, I know them. So yeah, man, check us out over on TikTok. I know that we had one that we were going to put up that was Downwell. Was it Downwell?
Yeah.
Gato Roboto, one of it.
We had Downwell ready. So. We have one for Downwell ready that I'll throw up there soon.
Okay. And, I mean, I have to say this episode was funny, to me at least. So there might be some good clips for Neon Abyss.
I hope
we'll
so.
see.
Like, I enjoyed this episode a lot, so hopefully we can get some good clips from it, and I'll go record some stupid crap in the game.
Yeah, but like I said, with the weird algorithm, I think we should try to find like the cat gun or the fish gun, so it doesn't look like a gun. Because
speaking of weird algorithm, I've heard someone went to his concert recently.
Oh my god, yeah, dude! I bet that Weird Al concert was awesome.
Oh hell yeah!
I'm just saying.
That was such a fun.
Dude, no, that was funny. Weird algorithm. Like, I got you. Real quick. Update on the Fantasy League before we get out of here. I completely spaced that. I had some games come out. I don't know if I've already covered this. Digimon Survive scored me a 78. So I got 8 points for that. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 scored me a 89. So I got 19 points for that.
All right.
And let's see, has anything else come out recently? Let me scroll through real quick. Let me see. No. Cult of the Lamb scored Phil an 85.
Ooh, wow.
And Live Alive, Live Alive, however you say that, scored him an 81. So not bad. And then Weird West scored him a 75. Other than that, I don't see a lot of other things that have come out yet. I will say that Jeremy on his list has AEW Fight Forever, and they released some gameplay of that game, and that game looks like hot doo-doo. like real bad. In the game trailer that they showed in the showcase, the chick hits the dude in the head with a steel chair, and his head clips through the middle of the steel chair, and the chair just stays on his head. And I was like, all right, I hope this is probably not coming out this year. Because I have no qualms against. Let's not even get into that. Let's end the episode. For this week's episode of the Steam Machine podcast, the next episode will be on Arkham City. I just don't feel like ranting about wrestling here at the end of the show.
We almost made it out. We can get out of here.
We love you all. We'll catch you for Batman Arkham City in 2 weeks. For the Destructo Bros, my name's Dalton. And as always, guys,
face the angry.
Get ready for racist men! And here at the end, we'd like to give a special shout out to our wonderful patrons, with an extra special shout out to Nate Sircocker at the 7th of Juniper, Jeff the Original Expendable, Mr. Syllables himself, Old Jeffy Lou, Eraser Adam, shout out to his podcast Revival and Extinction, James the Steam Machine Hall Monitor himself, James Hall, and Team Retro. Check him out on YouTube. We appreciate each and every single one of you. You rock.